Okay, in this video, we're going to talk about the Orville and my favorite character after this. Hello out there, I'm the Oldest Nerd, and I have a list of the 10 main characters on the Orville, and thought that I would go through them and then let you know after we've talked about them who my favorite is and why. And I would like to know what your favorite is and why in the comments. So please think about who your favorite character is and let me know about that. Meanwhile, if you are down in the comments, why not also subscribe if you haven't subscribed so far? About 85% of the people who watch my videos are not subscribers, and perhaps it's because you think it's going to cost something. It will not cost anything. I don't get a list of your name and address or anything like that. It is just a way that YouTube uses in order to see if I'm worthy of other privileges like being able to make t-shirts or something. I'm not exactly sure what, but it's always good to get more subscribers and helps us keep the channel going. So I hope that you will subscribe. Okay, so on the video, we're going to talk about the various characters on the Orville. We'll start out with Ed. Ed, of course, being the captain, he has said from the very first episode that what he wanted to do was to run a tight ship, but a ship that people would enjoy serving on, who would be proud to serve on it. And I think that he has pretty much fulfilled that as the captain of the ship. He has some conflicts between doing what's best for the ship and the crew and doing things for himself, but always the crew and the ship wins out. He makes a very good captain. Kelly, the first officer, was his ex-wife and helped get him this job because she was the one that probably helped him not get the job before due to a infidelity that she participated in and caused him to go into a slump that made them pass him over for command. She tried to fix this and put herself as first officer in order to try to win him back. Now, that has changed around a little bit. She's changed her mind as to whether she wanted him back or not, or wants to work in a more professional situation since she finds that being his first officer is actually a pretty good job. Alara, replaced in the second season by Tala. Both of them were Selayan. They are stronger than everybody else because they come from a heavy gravity world. But the characters themselves, Alara was an example of someone who does not feel like they quite fit in, despite the fact that she's very competent. She does her job very well. She doesn't feel like she's ever good enough. And they discover this in an episode where she does a simulation to try to prove herself that she can overcome her fears. And also in the episode where she goes home to her parents and they indicate that she's just not as smart as the rest of them. She has been working against this much of her life and trying to prove her own self-worth. On the other hand, Tala is a new crew member, and she is trying to find her place on the crew. And it looks like what she's going to be working into is kind of a confidant to Kelly and perhaps Dr. Finn. We'll see what she does. It is not a very well-developed character just yet, but it does have some possibilities because while Ed has some people he can talk to, Kelly actually doesn't. And while Kelly can talk to Dr. Finn, it's almost on a professional level. And on a friend level, she does not have that. And it looks like Tala is moving into that position. Gordon is the person that can talk to Ed. He was Ed's best friend, his drinking buddy before he became a captain and wanted him in his first command. And he was passed over from other jobs because he is considered kind of a ne'er-do-well, kind of someone who is a slacker, which he actually is an incredibly good pilot. And he does have the ability to cut through all of the pretense and tell Ed to his face just what he thinks, something that nobody else on the ship can do to its captain. And so he is in a unique position and a good place for that. Bortus. He is our resident alien. Whatever you need an alien to do, Bortus does it. He is the one who can get easily addicted to sex, to nicotine, he is from a race of only males, except that sometimes when they have females, they want to change them to males. And so one of our fellow nerds mentioned that Bortus is kind of one of these characters in which they decide to put all the bad traits on. And it's kind of a shame, because otherwise he's a very compelling character. Clyden, on the other hand, is kind of an antagonist. We find that while Bortus might not side with all of the things that that his race is guilty of, shall we say, Clyden certainly is someone who believes that fully in how they were enculturated, and that there should not be any change in the old ways, causing some certain amount of tension between Bortus and Clyden. But despite what we've thought about that duo, it looks like that they will be together for quite some time. John Lamar, at first was kind of another Gordon, kind of a guy who could talk to Gordon, but has evolved into the chief engineer. And as a result, he is someone who can run a department. He's shown to be highly intelligent. And he's also been kind of the voice of reason on the show. Whenever there is somebody that needs advice, it seems that John Lamarr is the one that they go to. He doesn't always give the best advice, but he is certainly respected, and for the most part, he has a better average than most of them do in his personal judgment. Then you have Yaphet. He's almost purely comic relief, wherever you need somebody who can stretch out his parts from one place to another in order to go in tight places or melt and run under a door or whatever. I would say he's almost kind of the Odo of the show, structurally, if not character-wise. Otherwise, he's kind of a comic relief character, and played by Norm Macdonald. He makes a very likable CG character, and that's a pretty good deal to do just with your voice. Dr. Finn is a single mother raising 2 children, and we have in her the ability to see what women in the workplace have to go through. It is made in sharpest relief to her. She's a dedicated doctor. She claimed that she could have served on any Union ship, but wanted on the Orville because she felt like that she would be needed more there. She very much lives up to the true nature of the Hippocratic Oath. Let's just put it that way. And the kids, we don't know too much about. They're regular children. They are mainly to play off of Dr. Finn, to show what responsibilities she has, and the difficulties in order to maintain a career and a family at the same time. And then we have Isaac. He has been described as kind of the Data of the show. He is the observer of humanity. And most shows have to have somebody there. Spock was in the original Star Trek series, Data and Next Generation. There have been others in other shows in which you have someone who basically stands back and looks at all of this and is able to objectively size it up. And so that's where we have all of the characters, and they're all well taken, they're all well performed. And what's your favorite? I would have to say that at this point, at one time Bortus was. I did like Bortus just because of the subtle humor, and it makes him, I guess, a first runner-up. I would give John Lamarr my favorite on this just because he is very much the voice of reason. He is the voice of competence, and he is able to identify with almost every other character on the show, and that's a difficult thing to do. So that's my sizing up of it. So let me know what you think. Go into the comments if you will, and don't forget to subscribe, and ring the bell if you want notifications of our next video. We're going to continue to do videos talking about different aspects of the Orville, and we'll also be talking about other shows. We're going to talk more about some shows that are on that you may not be watching. It's been suggested that I talk about some science fiction movies, and I'm putting together a list of my favorite movies. So we'll be doing a number of videos over the dry period between now and when all of our favorite shows come back on the air. So stay tuned to this channel. Somebody said you shouldn't say stay tuned. So do subscribe, do click the bell, and when we have another video, I hope that you'll watch us and stay in touch. But until then, don't go far.